Imagine a crowded lifeboat bobbing in a vast ocean. 50 people are crammed inside with only 10 spots left, but the ocean around them is teeming with 100 more, desperate to climb aboard. This is the essence of lifeboat ethics, a thought experiment proposed by ecologist Garrett Hardin in the 1970s. It's not about actual lifeboats, of course, but rather a metaphor for how we distribute resources in a world with limited capacity. The lifeboat represents a wealthy nation with its limited resources like food, water, and jobs. The people outside are those struggling in less fortunate circumstances, yearning for a share of that prosperity. The crux of the dilemma lies in the ethical questions. Should the lifeboat take in more people, even if it risks sinking the boat and endangering everyone on board? Or should they prioritize the safety of those already inside, even if it means turning away those in need? Hardin argued for a strict approach, suggesting that taking in more people would ultimately lead to disaster for everyone. He saw it as a zero-sum game where helping others would come at the expense of those already inside. Hardin was an opponent to Adam Smith's invisible hand, or the belief that in a free market, people acting in their self-interest will make decisions that benefit the whole of society. Hardin's counter-argument was that freedom in a commons brings ruin to all. That in a world of finite resources, an unlimited freedom to these resources would lead to ruin. To illustrate this, imagine a vibrant coral reef teeming with diverse marine life. Tourists flock to witness its beauty, generating income for local communities through diving tours and souvenirs. Initially, the reef thrives with a moderate number of visitors. However, the reef is a delicate ecosystem with limited capacity. As each tour operator, acting in their own best interest, increases the number of daily trips, the impact on the reef intensifies. Tourists, eager for close encounters, touch the corals, inadvertently damaging the fragile structures. Boat anchors scrape the seabed, further harming the ecosystem. The tragedy unfolds. Individual pursuit of profit in the form of more tours leads to the collective destruction of the very resource, the healthy reef, that sustains everyone's livelihood. The reef becomes bleached and barren, driving away tourists and jeopardizing the income of the local communities. This harsh reality serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our world, echoing Garrett Hardin's lifeboat metaphor. In the bigger picture, we can consider our world as a giant ocean filled with two types of lifeboats, some overflowing with resources and others desperately overcrowded. In Hardin's view, the wealthy nations are those full lifeboats, where the poorer nations are like the overcrowded ones, with people struggling to stay afloat. Here is the dilemma. What happens when people from the overcrowded boats try to swim towards the wealthier ones, hoping for a better life? Hardin offers 3 stark solutions, each with its own dramatic consequences. The first, to jump everyone in. This seemingly fair approach of taking everyone on board would overload the boats, sinking them all, a complete catastrophe for everyone. The second, to pick and choose. This option involves selecting a few lucky souls to join the wealthier boats, but it raises a difficult question. Who gets picked and why? This creates tension and potential conflict. The third is to shut the hatches. This solution prioritizes the safety of those already on board, but it requires constant vigilance against desperate attempts to board. In such a situation, an ethical nightmare arises. Who gets to join? How do you choose the lucky 10? Is it a lottery, a skills competition, or something more ruthless? Can you take more? Adding 10 might tip the boat, but refusing could leave others to drown. What's the acceptable risk? Saving some means sacrificing others. Do you deny resources to the weakest and save those with a fighting chance? Is it ever okay to throw someone overboard to make room? When does desperation turn deadly? Can you justify cannibalism to survive, even if it means killing someone who wouldn't last much longer anyway? The answer to these questions most of us never have to consider, because we don't encounter these problems in our daily lives. Nevertheless, current issues do exist which pose similar questions, namely the issue of immigration, or rather emigration. Continuing the lifeboat imagery, emigration occurs when the poor fall out of their overcrowded lifeboats, desperately swimming for the wealthy ones. They cling to the hope of being admitted or somehow benefiting from the abundant resources on board. Of course, emigration is not always a case of the poor escaping to a land of better opportunities. It may be the result of safety hazards or simply enjoying life in another country. In the end, lifeboat ethics is simply a warning mainly to those in charge of the resources of the world, that a mismanagement of their resources can bring a whole world of trouble. But lifeboat ethics also serve as a caution to those looking to swim to other boats in search of more resources, that in a world where each man and each country, each boat, pursues only their self-interest and their own survival, difficult decisions must be made that don't always favor the outsider. And with that, good luck out there. As the famous cocaine smuggler George Jung once said, "May the wind always be at your back and the sun upon your face."